thanks for watching Numbskull News, and happy Halloween, everybody. And apparently there's some people out there that are a little scared. A little scared for the Big 12. Will it survive? I keep hearing this refrain. If we want to survive, if we want to survive. Folks, we are surviving. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling the frighteners for some of you people. But if you haven't noticed, we just started on this new contract with ESPN and Fox, our business partners who wanted to do a lot of business with us. And there's a reason for that. Because we offer a ton of content, great content, good ratings. Is it the gigantic SEC and Big Ten football ratings? No. But as far as, men's basketball, we offer the best ratings. And I got some receipts right here, folks. TV viewership, basketball, men's basketball. Now, women's basketball, the Big Ten have kind of been ruling the school the last couple of years, but a lot of that is due to Caitlin Clark and just the absolute phenomenal superstar she's been. But men's basketball, do you know, last year, Houston had 9.71 million viewers for the regular season. All their nationally televised games, all of that equals to 9.71 million viewers. Now you may say, well, that's not a whole lot. Dude, this is regular season college hoops. It never gets great ratings. That is something media companies really enjoy when there's millions to it. And they're not alone. Kansas, 13.52 million viewers for their regular season. Baylor, 6.87 million viewers for their regular season. And TCU, 4.5 million viewers for their regular season. Now, that's just a handful. I didn't get information on everybody. Those are pretty much the top schools in the Big 12 as far as ratings last year. The 2023-2024 regular Big 12 college hoops, men's college hoops TV viewership. And that's tops in the nation. Okay? So, let's stop obsessing about the viewership of the Big 12. No. Are we the Big 10 and the SEC in football? Absolutely not. Can I make the case as far as viewership, we're the third most watched conference in all of college football? Absolutely. But in men's college hoops, we're number one in viewership. Now, you can take that for what it's worth. Oh, also, I'm sorry. The Big 12 championship game last year, Houston versus Iowa State, got 2.1 million viewers for that game alone. And you may say, well, that's not a lot. 2.1 million viewers for a college hoops conference championship, not NCAA. The Big 12 conference title game, Houston and Iowa State. Not Kansas. All right. Duke and UNC are not in the Big 12. That's pretty damn nice numbers for your conference title game. And by the way, the rest of the conference tournament had huge numbers. Every game, huge numbers. So that's me addressing the viewership. Everyone relax. As far as football goes, half our conference gets over 1 million viewers a week on average. That's fantastic. That's what you want. There are many conferences that get none. There's another P4 conference that shall not be named that only gets like 4 of their teams, of their 17, 18, however many freaking teams they got. Not including Notre Dame. That, only has like 4 teams that get that kind of number. So, relax on the viewership numbers. We're doing fine. Let this thing cook a little bit. You got to let it simmer. This new Big 12's only been around for a short period of time. But still, I hear the refrain on Twitter, in my comments sometimes, that we still need a huge brand, or one of these brands that we have has to blow up, has to be the next Oklahoma. It needs to be the next Clemson. It has to be the next Texas, the next Ohio State. Folks, that's not what's going to make us successful. Because to have a Texas, to have an Alabama, to have an Ohio State or a Michigan, that takes decades and decades and decades to build those brands, those individual brands. Now, I may shit all over the Blue Bloods whenever I talk college football. I don't root for any of them. I have a certain level of disdain for a lot of them, or most of them. However, I have to give them their due and their props for the winning, their marketing, just what they have built, their legendary status over decades, some of them over 100 years worth of building what they have. So I'm not jealous of these teams at all. As a matter of fact, hey man, I think it's awesome what they have built. But don't think that Oklahoma State, in the matter of a couple of seasons, can get to where Oklahoma is. Now, I know they don't want to. I know Cowboys fans don't want to sit there and be like, "Whoa, you're saying that we're not as good as the Sooners." Well, no, you don't have the winning record that the Sooners have. You don't have the titles. You don't have the conference championships they do. You don't have their history. TCU doesn't have their history. Iowa State doesn't have their history. Nobody in this conference right now has OU's history. And OU's not the biggest of the Blue Bloods. They're like a worker bee of the Blue Bloods, like the second level down of the Blue Bloods. That's not even getting to Ohio State or USC or Alabama. It's not getting to any of them. We're just talking a lower rung level of blue blood. No one in this conference has that status, and it would take decades, multiple decades of winning on the highest possible levels to get there. So, is that a solution anytime soon? It's not. And it's completely unrealistic. It won't happen. All right, it would take Utah. It would take Oklahoma State. All right, let's just use those two. All right, people seem to like, when you talk about big brands of the Big 12, people like to throw out those two. So let's talk about those two, who, by the way, are kind of the flaming shits this year. But let's just say the next 5 years, back and forth, they're winning the Big 12. It's one or the other. And they're dominating this conference. They're getting into the playoff. They're getting to the championship round and winning titles. That's what it would take. Now, I want someone to put all of their money they have in their savings account on that happening. Just for one of them, not both, just for one of them. That something like that can happen. No one's going to put a dime on that because we all know the chances are so freaking astronomically low for that happening that it's pointless to even have a discussion about it. That's how these other conferences built their stuff. And look, I get it, right? Whether you're the Four Corners or whether you're the Big 12 teams, especially these 12 teams, right? And all. Because you look, if you're G5 level, and if you're Houston, if you're UCF, Cincinnati, BYU, you're not looking at. I think those guys are probably way more optimistic than anything else, and those fan bases are. But the other folks, all right, the original 8 of the Big 12 and the Four Corners, we're used to being in a conference with blue bloods, right? And we kind of feel naked without them. Like, oh no, there's no one here to legitimize us. What you have to get through your head is that we don't need those types of teams here to legitimize this conference. This conference is legitimate. Our media rights deal is legitimate. The fact of the matter that you have private equity wanting to invest billions into this thing into the Big 12, not the whole, CFB, not the Power 4, just the Big 12. Want to invest over $1 billion into what we have. That should tell you something about what we have. It's extremely valuable. I mean, there's nothing to be afraid of. The survival of the conference, that's ridiculous. This thing is going to survive. Look, if there's a breakaway of the Power 4 from everything else, then that changes some of the dynamics of everything, obviously. But even in that has been thrown out there, the Big 12 would still be a conference. So with the SEC and the Big 10 and the ACC, everything survives on that level. But if we're just talking, everyone is just their own conferences, business as usual, and there's no breakaways or anything like no super leagues or any of that kind of crap, the Big 12's fine. Even in a breakaway thing, the Big 12's still fine. Because we're still independent. The future of the Big 12 is on parity, and there's so many people out there, well, parity's not working. Look, parity's not working. What are you talking about? It's not working. This is the most exciting conference as far as football. Basketball as well, but that's more brand driven. In football, it's not brand driven. It's excitement driven. Anything can happen any given Saturday or Friday or Thursday. Whenever we play, anything can happen. Anyone can go into anyone's house and beat anybody. You never know what you're going to get with the Big 12. And our reputation for that is already making the national rounds. I know there's people wringing their hands about, oh, well, look at the AP poll, the top 25. Oh, they're screwing us. BYU's way too low. Iowa State's too low. No respect. It's the AP. It takes them forever to change their opinion on anybody. It really does. I don't give a damn about the AP poll. The real poll is the CFP poll. And that's going to come out in November. They've been pretty generous to the Big 12. I'm just saying they've been pretty damn generous with the Big 12 in recent years. So I'm not worried about any of that. As far as our reputation as the Big 12, as this big fun league, you got to let that cook. It's not 3/4 of the first season of the new Big 12. And then, parity's not going to work. No, parity takes a little bit of time. The way this is right now, the word's already spreading nationally. I watch several different shows, several different outlets, national outlets. And every one of them are like, hey, the Big 12, that's the funnest league in the nation. And it's set up to be the funnest league year after year because you don't know who's going to be 8-0. No one saw BYU or, a lot of people thought Iowa State could have a really good year. But this good, undefeated right now, I don't think people really saw undefeated right now. And they damn sure didn't see it with BYU. You might be hopeful, but we didn't see it. Kansas State being one loss right now, I think most people thought, okay, yeah. How about Colorado? What a surprise that is for most people. Now, I thought they would be better. I thought they would be a lot better than they were last year. At least bowl eligible. But I think Deion's ahead of schedule personally on what you would expect a coach to be able to pull out. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they lose all the rest of their games. Maybe they're 6-6. But it doesn't feel like 6-6. It feels like Colorado, this is 9-3, 10-2, all over it. I mean, so that's what this league is. Every year someone's going to fall that you don't think will fall. Kansas. Holy crap, right? Holy crap. Utah. They're 500. They still got a chance at a bowl game, but I expected a hell of a lot more out of Utah. I was kind of fearful of Utah. TCU beat Utah. And I'm a TCU fan. I didn't think that was going to happen. Even as bad as Utah looked at times, as Arizona State made them look, or Arizona, but I didn't think that was going to happen. But there you go. You never know. I mean, look, Utah had the easiest schedule. That's why, oh my God, Utah, they got such an easy schedule. They're 4-4. It damn sure doesn't look that easy. So what I'm saying, the brand of the Big 12 is the Big 12 itself, the collection of schools. None being really all that much bigger, better, more influential, more lush with cash than any others. All right, everyone's on a pretty even playing field. The amount of revenue generated isn't that crazy far apart. All these schools can recruit with one another. So it's true parity. All right, that's just, everyone's got an equal share of the media rights deal. Or at least they will here shortly once everything really gets going. But everyone has an equal shot to be something in this league on the football field. Everybody does. Everyone has a shot at the recruits. Everyone has a shot to win games. Everyone has a shot when it comes to NIL. And it's pretty damn equal. No one has this huge advantage. I mean, we all saw for years and years and years, Texas and Oklahoma in this league had a monster advantage over everybody else. And I don't miss this conference being about two teams, because nationally, that's all it was ever about. It was about Texas and it was about Oklahoma. It wasn't about anybody else. And if it wasn't Texas and Oklahoma that were at the top of the Big 12, no one gave a shit. For me, now that they're gone, there's a breath of fresh air. Now everybody is on an equal level, or pretty close to equal level. That's exciting. That's something different that no other power conference can give their customers, their fans, their supporters. None of them can. Because Vanderbilt has fans. All right, Mississippi State has fans. Northwestern and Purdue, they have fans. Maryland has fans. But what is there to get excited about? Oh, hey, we make a shit ton of money just like Ohio State. Yeah, you do. Now try to out-recruit them. No. No. You don't have the donors. You don't have the NIL. You don't have any of that. You don't generate the same money. You may get the same amount from the media rights deal, but we all know there's a hell of a lot more money than media rights when it comes to the business of college football. And Maryland ain't getting the same kind of corporate money, corporate sponsorship money that Ohio State gets. Let's get that clear. Mississippi State isn't getting what Alabama or Georgia gets. No. Arkansas isn't getting that either. But in the Big 12, there's no one has this overwhelming advantage. And so every fan base out there can have realistic expectations of winning this conference, of going on a run, being 7-0, 8-0, 9-0, and going on one hell of a fun ride that most teams in the other power, because forget about the G5, but the other power conferences, most of those teams and their fans will never get to experience what Big 12 fans can have the right and have the ability to experience. What Kansas State fans have been able to relish in the last several years. They won the conference 2 years ago. They're in the running again this year. Long-suffering Arizona State fans can finally be in a conference, and Arizona fans, where they got a shot. They got a real shot to do something real. And that word is getting out to the national people, the national audiences. They know how fun this thing is. And so when you give them entertaining season after entertaining season, you don't know who rises up and who crashes down. But every year, it's somebody new. There's a new conversation. This year, it's BYU. Next year, it could be Cincinnati. One year, it could be UCF. Eventually, Houston. All right, the lowly former G5s, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the hell. Baylor can get back into prominence. I mean, anything can happen in this league. That's the intrigue. That's the drama. And that's what sports fans love. This is why we're here watching sports. That's why you watch the NFL or the NBA or golf. Any sport. You're watching it for the stories and the drama. The real drama and the real stories. That's why we're here. And that's the thing that these other conferences don't get. All right, you got Alabama fans wondering when they're going to get the next notch on the belt, or Georgia, or Texas, or OU, or LSU, or Florida, or Tennessee. But for Arkansas fans, you don't have a notch. Mississippi State, you don't have that. Vanderbilt, no. But in the Big 12, everyone's going for the chip every year. And everyone has a shot, a realistic shot every freaking year to do it. That's the secret sauce. That's the stuff that's going to make the Big 12 overall brand more and more valuable as we go on. So let this thing cook. Let it simmer like a good stew. And when it gets there, when it rises up, that's the thing, people. You got to let it build up. It ain't going to build over 3/4 of a season. Have a little patience. Enjoy the ride. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Because it's going to be damn fun. Anyway, thanks for watching this crap. And I'll be back with some other crap later. Bye.